So guys, welcome back and we are on to our last Swiss bracket match. Here we come so close
We're here in
to
the sixth
that
round, yes.
top cuts, Mr. Pau. And both sides 4-1 right now. Our matchup going to be Enrico Ryan Comentan versus Jeremy De Los Santos.
Let's see what they have to bring in this final round of Swiss Cup, sixth round. We'll see. This one will tell who will come to the top cut of this tournament here.
Yeah, both sides do have a chance of making it to the top cut, but if you do get that 5-1, well, you are pretty much guaranteed to be in it to begin with. But anyway, though, it's going to be time to get into the action right here, right now. Here we go into this matchup. And who do we got in our rosters? We have a Chandelier Whimsicott. It's a Gardevoir here, as well as that Gyarados, a Hydreigon, and a Darmanitan for Enrico. For the flip side of Jeremy, though, what's it going to be?
Oh, we do see a Vanillux and a Lapras just to pair those. Normally, you see those both able to set up Aurora Veil, which is double screens that you can set up in one turn, but it's just the cost of a little bit more power. We do see a Hitmontop, a Corviknight, a Togekiss, and the Rotom-Mow on Jeremy's side.
Oh, Rotom-Mow, interesting. Gonna go for the Rotom-Mow. It's not really as popular. It's still a popular pick, but it does pale in comparison compared to the Rotom Wash, of course.
The Rotom-Mow very powerful against
Yeah.
especially the Gyarados of Enrico, as there's not a lot that Gyarados can do against a Rotom-Mow if
all
it
the
comes down
coverage,
to it.
dude, all the coverage in the world and then some. Interesting enough, it's gonna be a Lapras here as well for Jeremy. So you can see some water types here and now for both sides. Of course, gonna be hail warning into that Lapras, amplifying those blizzards on both sides. Gonna be so potent. Corviknight can go for a little bit of a setup here for Jeremy. On the flip side for Enrico, it does look like it can potentially be a Trick Room, perhaps.
It could be a Trick Room, yes. On Jeremy's side, there's a thing I've seen on ladder that the Lapras can actually go for an Ice Shard into a Togekiss to proc its own weakness policy. We'll see if that's the plan that Jeremy's going for this in this match.
Yeah, we'll see if they really are gonna be the cards here and now. But Vanillux and Togekiss to start things off. So already Jeremy gonna be exposing and going for that hail warning at the very start. Chandler and Gyarados in response. Interesting here from Enrico. We'll see if it's gonna be enough. Intimidate gonna be on to the field, I believe, gonna be popping that one off. But the snow warning will initiate all of the action here.
In fact, we do not see the Intimidate
Yeah, no
from the
Intimidate,
Gyarados.
actually.
That does basically confirm that this Gyarados is a Moxie variant. He has to be careful though, because the Vanillux always has threat of Freeze Dry, possibly KOing the Gyarados even through Dynamax.
Yeah, it won't even matter. There's too much damage there. It's like ×4 with the water flying typing in that regard. Chandelier, though, of course, can go for a little bit of that setup, as well as a few of those heat moves to begin with. But still, it is going to be a starting point. Here we go with the Dynamax to initiate things.
First Dynamax of the game going on Enrico's side, onto his red Gyarados. We'll see if Jeremy answers with his own Dynamax.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting typeset here and now. Potentially going to be crunching on, destroying Jeremy in his Warpath. But on the flip side, Jeremy, it's a Master Ball. Who would you toss a Master Ball to? That's interesting. It was a Master Ball Togekiss.
It is the big plane here. We do see the smiling big Togekiss.
I'm just really surprised that you'd catch a Togekiss with a Master Ball. That's a Togepi, a Togetic. You know, maybe just something in before. But here's a Heat Wave.
Dealing so much damage to the Vanillux, popping it to its Focus Sash.
1 HP and a Dream stays alive so far. Max Airstream right now. The onto the Vanillux gonna get that KO, preventing the Freeze Dry from ever initiating. So Enrico gonna be one ahead already. So Jeremy cannot do any self-rock antics, cannot go for the Blizzards, cannot go for the Freeze Dry onto that Gyarados. And here comes the Moxie, has been confirmed. It looks like it's gonna be the Pain Train coming as more and more attack goes on to that Gyarados. Airstream in response.
Airstream onto the Chandelier, living it by 4 HP, probably dying to the Hailstorm though.
Yeah, that's
now that the Moxie has been triggered on the Gyarados, the clock is down for Jeremy to take down that Gyarados, because it's just gonna get stronger and stronger as the match goes on.
And that Togekiss sure gets some good damage done, but it didn't get that KO on the Chandelier. Is it more onto the speedy nature in terms of its training, or is the Chandelier a little bulkier? Might be. Both sides coming to an agreement, but there you go, Darmanitan.
We see a Darmanitan so strong, especially in the hail with its boosted Ice Punch.
Yeah, Darmanitan, if it can find the opportunity, can get that KO. Of course, Guerrilla Tactics putting it into one, so you have that choice item into the field. Now, the real question is, what does it have? Will it have to be the band? Will it be the scarf in this scenario? We'll see what's gonna go first.
We also have to see what the Lapras has to do, because the Lapras is such a versatile Pokemon. It can be normally a little more defensive, but it has the capability to deal out a serious amount of damage as well. It can also even go into supportive roles by throwing out like the aforementioned Aurora Veil.
Yeah, the Aurora Bell, of course, just gonna be really so strong. Gonna be putting up those cranes to begin with. But by this point in time, it seems like Jeremy's just trying to find an opportunity. But no, they're gonna be withdrawing that Lapras instead. Here we go with the hit on top. Intimidate gonna be cutting down that damage from the side of the Gyarados, as well as the Darmanitan. Gonna be very potent in this scenario. Physical attackers on Enrico's side.
That's such a good switch in though, because now the Moxie doesn't have the Moxie is basically cancelled by that Intimidate, and because of that Airstream not that scary versus the big Togekiss.
Anyway, though, here we go with the Icicle Crash from the Darmanitan. Not the punch, it's a crash instead. And the Togekiss is gonna land on down. 2 down already here for Jeremy. The Hitmontop has gotten a good Intimidate off, but it's not gonna be enough to save the day. Enrico can get buffeted by that hail, as well as a Hitmontop of Jeremy. And this is looking pretty dicey here for our right-hand side.
Unfortunately for Jeremy, now that his Togekiss is dead, he can no longer switch in his he can no longer shuffle his his Hitmontops Intimidate over and over again. Without the ability to loop that, it's very hard to control the attack of this Gyarados.
Anyway, though, we'll see what's going to be up here and now for both of our players as the Lapras is back into the field. It's getting pretty dicey, though. It's getting pretty risky here for Jeremy to go on to the offensive, especially with Gyarados still all the way in terms of the attacking power. It still has a +1, I believe. The Intimidate wasn't enough to completely disregard everything.
No, Intimidate, Moxie only boosted by one stage, and Intimidate neutralize it, putting Gyarados back at 0.
Oh yeah, it's minus.
As the one who killed the Togekiss was the Darmanitan. Darmanitan is the one at -1 now.
Okay, but here we go with the Overgrowth onto the Lapras.
Not enough to kill that.
That
Intimidate did matter, and
there you go. Finally, that Hitmontop putting things ahead. But the Whimsicott also on the field can get a little more potent. Freeze right now though onto Gyarados.
Not enough to kill. The Lapras not known for its offensive presence on the field.
Yeah, it's just so difficult right now here for Jeremy, and he's trying his best, especially with those freeze dries. Well, we'll see if Enrico can mop the floor here and now onto this next turn. But the Gyarados is gonna be out of Dynamax. Jeremy still has a chance, especially in terms of that typing.
We'll see what the Hitmontop has to deal with the Gyarados now that it's just at 45 HP. Very dangerous for Jeremy right now, but not out of his league to run it back.
Yeah, Enrico gonna be having that Gyarados a little low. The Darmanitan still on the bench. That's a Sucker Punch though. Oh, the Gyarados!
He does live the Sucker Punch by 3 HP, and
just so close there. That's the meme right now from the Whimsicott.
Both Pokemon survive with 3 HP, and he lands the Blizzard on both.
This is so close here, but Enrico now on a 1v2 scenario. Jeremy has weathered the storm truly after he set things up, and with the Blizzard just as accurate as can be thanks to the hail dropping on down. Oh, poor Hitmontop dies. It's a 1v1 here, and now can Enrico actually get the kill by this point? It seems like the Darmanitan should have priority here. The Lapras
really considerably slower compared to this Darmanitan. We'll see if the Lapras can weather the strong punches or the strong hits that Darmanitan can dish out.
But I feel like it's gonna be a crash on down, and Enrico just primed to take this win here. It's a Flare Blitz instead from the Darmanitan, looking to mop the floor out of the Lapras.
And it does kill. It
does
kills.
get the KO, and Enrico able to take his lead to the next level, takes that first match there in this best of 3. In the meantime, guys, we'll try something new and show you guys the player base real quick. So here, guys, we have Enrico on the left, Jeremy on the right, and some interesting MVPs all the way in the middle. just trying to administrate things all around. But yeah, Enrico taking that first one there, pal. What really was the keys to the kingdom for him onto that first match?
I think during that match, it was just the management of Dynamax because on Enrico's side, his Gyarados a much more effective Dynamax than the Togekiss on Jeremy's side. As we haven't really seen what item Jeremy's Togekiss was carrying. It could be Weakness Policy, it could be Babiri Berry, it could even be Scope Lens. So without that information, Enrico might have to play a bit this, not as aggressive, but a little more conservative just to feel out Jeremy, as he does have a one game advantage over Jeremy to feel things out.
Yeah, and that's really true. Like Enrico was able to answer so many of Jeremy's setup that we were not really able to see what he was gonna be up to onto the field. We have all these possibilities with some weakness policy procs, with having both ice types on the field, blizzards coming about, but we only saw a snippet, a glimpse of what Jeremy has to offer thanks to the antics and just the dynamics that Enrico has been able to instill. Having that Moxie Gyarados as well at the very start, allowing him to keep the momentum on, getting those +1s every time it gets the KO, and it was enough presence, it was bulky enough to weather the freeze dry, and while it really was just a game changer there for our blue hand side.
Yes, Moxie Gyarados is such a scary Pokemon to match up against because every time it gets a kill, it just gets stronger. It's just a boulder that keeps on getting bigger.
And maybe we'll see what Jeremy can change things up into this regard. But I feel like his roster does have a lot of possibilities to stay alive and stabilize. All he needs to do is find ways to keep them into play long enough to find the combos and just be on the offensive against Enrico. We haven't seen much of the protect action though. We haven't really seen any stalls here from both sides. So it really does seem like they're both pain trains waiting to roll to the next station.
Yeah, these are both very offensive teams. So from we see. We'll see if they switch up any leads. On both sides, the same lead actually. Vanillux Togekiss and Chandelure Gyarados.
Take 2 action. Jeremy gonna be whipping out that Togekiss with the Vanillux, gonna be at that hail warning on. And the real question is there gonna be a way for Jeremy to get a good Blizzard into this fight? It's not gonna be the best typing though. Chandelure and the Gyarados sure do have basically a few ways to mitigate that damage. In terms of the spread, the freeze dry might be a better answer here, but the Togekiss, it does have 2 opportunities. It can go for the offensive, can go for the Dynamax, get procs, or will it have that follow me to just get rid of the aggro?
We're not sure because on Jeremy's side, Togekiss seems to be a very powerful Dynamax option as well. So I'm not sure what he wants to do with it, especially against the Dynamax. I assume this is going to be the Gyarados again.
Yeah, this has to be the Gyarados by this point. It proved to be Enrico's bread and butter earlier on, and this time he's going to be making to look a great sandwich into this one. Hello, monsieur, my name is Gyarados, and you can already see the Fiend Fan Foom looking to destroy the field yet again. On the flip side though, what does Jeremy do? Gonna go for his own Dynamax onto the Togekiss yet again. I still can't get over that it's a Master Ball for that Togepi evolution.
Yeah, well, sometimes, sometimes you find a shiny and you really have to catch it. Especially if it's a star shiny like this, a square shiny like this one.
Yeah, but the Togekiss gonna be looking to impose yet again. And here we go right now with the Vanillux, gonna pop that Protect this time. So we're talking about defensive options. Vanillux gonna be staying alive. Heat Wave though will protect that Vanillux. Not gonna go down in one fall swoop this time. Jeremy reading that one like a book. Togekiss taking some damage there. Can the guy? Oh, that's a crit.
Get the crit.
That's 90 HP gone. So this might be not. It seems like it's gonna be the Airstream actually. Onto Vanillux. Yeah, not gonna get that 2-hit KO. It'll be 1 turn. Stay alive. The Chandelure though, as well as the Gyarados, getting some speed in their advantage. And
a fast Chandelure actually very dangerous. Not something you see every day, but it does survive. But
no,
it will die to the hail, of course.
Yeah, we've seen this before. That Togekiss does enough damage alongside the hail to get those KOs against Pokemon like the Chandelure. And very well calculated there for Jeremy. His lead allows him to basically spread out his stats in a way that he doesn't need to go all the way in for damage, just able to get a little bit of the pinch at the tail end.
It's a very good adjustment here by Jeremy, and we now see the Darmanitan from Enrico's side. We'll see if the Darmanitan will go again for another icicle crash, or an ice punch to kill the Togekiss.
Yeah, it's a early Darmanitan here. We saw the icicle crash earlier on. Will we see it yet again? But looks, of course, can have some potencies on the side. So Enrico has to decide if he's gonna be protecting that Gyarados from the freeze dry upcoming. But also gonna get withdrawn actually. And here comes the Hitmontop instead. Intimidate, getting the proc. We were talking about this earlier on, and this is gonna be putting them into the negatives by this point. Enrico, whipping out both physical attackers, gets punished accordingly.
Jeremy, very good shuffling of his Pokemon. Now that both of the offensive Pokemon are at -1 attack, it seems that he's slowed the game down long enough for the Moxie Gyarados to not take effect yet, but the Gyarados does still get the kill, evening out that -1 with that Moxie, making it back to neutral attack.
Yeah, doesn't even care about the Intimidate. Enough damage there. Rock Slide though.
What
Gonna
if
be a
you
spot,
see-
and it's gonna be weakness
Weakness
policy! Weakness policy onto that Togekiss. Gonna be looking as potent as possible with the Airstream right now.
This Airstream looking way more dangerous now that this weakness policy
And the
is triggered.
Tornado has turned into a Category 5 Hurricane here, just blowing all those houses home, and the Jamanitan gonna lose everything, and it's alive. The Gyarados gonna get buffeted there, the Togekiss doing the same. And Enrico down one Pokemon right now, both sides Dynamaxing at the same turn, so should run out into the next one. But we'll see if the Togekiss can stay alive long enough to go for one more hit. The weakness policy is proc, so it is primed and ready for action. Whimsicott though here for Enrico versus what does Jeremy have in store? It's a Lapras, and yet again Enrico has to make these hard decisions.
He has to think about whether he can kill the Togekiss with his Gyarados, because that Togekiss is gonna hurt a lot on both his Whimsicott and on his Gyarados if he does land the Max Airstream.
Yeah, and that's freeze ride though. Earlier on, we saw that it really put the hurting onto that flying water looking dragon right
That
there.
Blizzard as well, if
That
you
Blizzard's
remember.
so strong, especially in the hail. But here comes the geyser.
He just switches this terrain smartly, and he does get the kill on the Dynamax Togekiss. Weakness policy only killing one Pokemon this game.
And here comes the rain, but Jeremy will be able to get that hail back onto the next turn with the Vanilla switching on in. But this might be enough for Enrico to turn the tides in his favor. As the rain is dropping on down, that's Gleam onto the Lapras, barely making an impact.
But he
Here-
still lands the
The
Blizzard!
The Blizzard connects. Who cares about that accuracy when it still gets the damage done? And it freezes the Whimsicott! Whoa!
Very unfortunate from Enrico's side. That's Enrico.
Effectively making this fight a 1v2, and the hail comes yet again. Jeremy sprinkling a little bit of luck at the tail end, but this matchup really going in favor of Jeremy. Now the fact here of the matter is Enrico still has a chance with his Gyarados having that priority, but Whimsicott is effectively gone from this game. Will not look like anything but an icicle on the side.
There is one thing he could still do. A one-turn thaw could still turn this match
Will
around.
RNG be on that side? That's gonna be the real question. Power up though! Gonna be showing off a little bit of their grassy action.
Killing the
Lapras gonna
Lapras.
go down!
Oh, and now this Gyarados very dangerous at +2 attack with his Moxie.
Moxie boosting on up yet again, guys, and here comes the Vanillux now.
We'll see.
Oh, Whimsicott frozen!
What?
You gotta let it go, but here comes Blizzard this time. Will it be enough to kill the Gyarados? No, not enough. Not
Very
quite there.
unfortunate. I feel like if you threw out a freeze dry,
Yeah, I feel
a
like
freeze
Freeze
dry
Dry would have been a
instead.
lot better in that scenario, but the real
he has
question
to-
is, does that Vanillux have it? It might not actually have it in that spot. The Lapras has shown that it does have the freeze dry, but does the Ice Cream Cone have it? We don't know, but it looks like it does. Is this the case?
the
And the
plus two
waterfall right now
Gyarados.
gonna be physical enough to destroy
enough.
that one. And Enrico coming back
In a
to take
very,
it.
very close match, if I might say.
So close, but no cigar. The freeze was just a false hope there. It was so close. So very close there, pal. But anyway, that was the matchup there.
RNG's is almost bringing the match back around, but in the end, it's all about how you
It's all about how you play it.
it's all about how you play it and how you train your Pokemon, right?
Yeah, and a while ago it was exposed that there was a grass move in the repertoire of the Gyarados with the Overgrowth. I feel like it was Jeremy just not respecting that, or was really put in a case where he had no choice by the tail, and that was the show that does puts our blue hand player on a 5-1, basically putting him to the top cut. We'll be waiting around, trying to see who else is going to be joining him in our top of the top.
We'll see who joins, and stay tuned for the top 8 of this tournament here.